A brother's anguish captured in words written just hours after receiving the worst news of his life.
You want me to read it to you? I could read it to you.
Yeah?
On December 16th at 7:32, half-clad and lifeless is how they found you. The death of my sister puts a hole in my heart, but the way you were took is the unbearable part. What happened to you prior to your untimely death? Did you plead for help with your last dying breath?
Did she plead for help?
This was a moving fight, a vicious, moving fight.
Did anyone hear anything at all?
She was raped, she was murdered.
What really happened the night Ashley Yamauchi was killed?
No real man ever treats a woman like that.
And why is no one talking?
I believe there's more to this story.
This is a murder.
It is a picture those who knew Ashley Yamauchi might find odd, because it appears this was one of the very last times she would be photographed. Without a smile on her face.
She was always smiling. She was always happy. I met Ashley in 4th grade. We lived down the street from each other, and after school, the first day of 4th grade, my doorbell rang and it was her, and she said, "Hi, I'm Ashley, do you want to be friends?"
She randomly knocked on your door?
Just randomly knocked on my door. Yeah.
That's gonna be my friend.
Yeah.
And that was just the beginning of what her family would describe as typical Ashley.
She just speaks her mind. There's no filter, really.
What kind of things did she like to do?
She collected a lot of shoes, actually.
She was a shoe collector.
Yeah, she had a lot of shoes.
Not the cheapest habit, but to make ends meet, the Bay Area native worked as a full-time nanny.
She loved the kids. She definitely had fun with the kids.
Which was good, considering she gave birth to one of her own at the age of 25, a little girl she adored.
She became more responsible. She made sure that she was well taken care of.
Unfortunately, things didn't work out between Ashley and the father of her child, but by most accounts, they kept things amicable.
They had to split custody, her and the father.
Eventually, Ashley met a new man named Parker, and they quickly became a serious couple.
I knew Parker. I met him through her. He was a nice guy. He cared about Ashley a lot.
And she was happy with him?
She always knew that that's who she would end up with.
Really?
She said they had their problems, but she's always said that that's who she was going to end up with.
But then, just how big were those problems? There was at least one report of domestic violence during their 5-year relationship. And though the two appeared to stick it out, by the time Ashley was 33, she seemed to be making some big changes. As in, pack up and move to the other side of the country big. Now, when she told you, hey, I'm going to New York in a few weeks, what did she say was the reason for that?
To go to school, to be an esthetician. She had talked about it for several months before, and when she had the opportunity, she really wanted to do it.
Just 2 weeks before she passed, we were actually, my mom and I, we were helping her move her stuff, pack her stuff up. So it was in motion, yeah.
Would you say she was in a happy place?
I think she was excited about school, but she was having a little bit of problems also, you know, I guess with somebody else.
That somebody else, Ashley's mom believes, was the father of Ashley's daughter.
Because I don't think he wanted her to go to New York. You know, I think there was a big fuse going on then about her deciding to go there.
A moot point now, as Ashley would never make that trip. Monday, December 15th, Ashley walks from work to hang out at one of her favorite bars, a place well known to Lieutenant Rafael Opata of the San Rafael PD. Tell me about this bar.
It was called the 4th Street Tavern. I used to go there. It just was a great place. I mean, it was one of those places where you felt comfortable going there.
She frequently went there, and I know that she was friends with the people that were regulars there.
Including the bartender.
The bartender I know was a friend of hers because I've seen in her camera pictures of him at her house.
And as far as anyone knows, that bartender would be one of the last people to see Ashley alive. The next morning, December 16th, rain slicked streets from the night before, and a gruesome discovery in the parking lot behind the 4th Street Tavern.
We heard what was reported to be a dead child, actually, naked behind this bar. We got there, and it was really clear when we walked up that this was a very bad incident.
Torn clothes, bruised flesh, Ashley's asphyxiated body left wedged between a parked car and an old chain-link fence.
I have to tell you, it was one of the more difficult scenes that I'd been to. It was a very violent crime scene. It looked to me like she fought very hard and that she did everything she could to get away from this person. This was like a desperate struggle to survive.
Now, there was evidence of a sexual assault as well. You believe she was raped or an attempt?
It was pretty obvious that if that wasn't the primary motivator for the attacker, it definitely was included in the attack. She was found nude from the waist down.
And these were the details Ashley's family and friends would soon have to hear. Forced final images of the person they loved.
My brother had called me and asked if I had heard about Ashley being murdered. And I had thought, I thought he was playing some sick and twisted joke at first. I thought, just come on, shut up, And he said, no, I'm serious. And I shut up, didn't believe him. And then when he put my mom on the phone, then I realized this is serious,
In fact, it was Ashley's mother who helped confirm the identity of her body.
I called up the police department and I told them about the tattoo, Ashley's tattoo on her leg, and they said, yeah. And that's when I knew it was true.
The horrific way in which she died, and that her 8-year-old daughter now had no mother, these things were clear. The questions still unanswered.
Do you think it was random? Do you think she left with someone she knew?
Coming up,
We found some physical evidence.
the investigation into who killed Ashley Yamauchi.
I heard some guy walked up and said, "What are you doing with my girl?"
And
She's the only woman that I ever loved.
a revealing interview with Ashley's boyfriend.
There was a domestic issue years ago between you two where police were involved. Can you explain that?